You're on CYInterview.
I'm Chris Shandik. Featured columnist Jay Bilstein is with me. Today on CYInterview, we welcome back dancer, show producer, and Las Vegas star Jennifer Romas to talk about her new production, Exxcite The Show, that is taking place at Larry Flynt's Hustler Club. Jennifer, thanks for joining us again on CYInterview. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you to you both for having me again.
Oh, we're always happy to have you on. It was nice to be out at the debut last Thursday night to see the beginning of your new show. So why don't you just start by telling me what was the impetus behind your new production, Exxcite The Show?
Oh gosh. As most people well know, Exxcite The Show was running for close to 7 years at the Westgate, Las Vegas, very successful run. And during COVID, when we could not perform there anymore, I was able to take a spin-off show called Sexy After Dark to Larry Flynt's Hustler Club during the pandemic. It just kind of so worked out. They needed entertainment, and I needed a venue that would serve food, and they have a wonderful restaurant as well. So the partnership kind of took place then. As time went on, we thankfully reopened again Sexy at the Westgate Hotel, and just through the course of change and things with budget cuts and all the COVID rules and regulations, it was not a good fit for me and my cast and the show anymore there. And so we still had the other show that was at Larry Flynt. And through all of this, I am in negotiations right now to get Sexy The Show back into another casino hotel as a production, and hopefully I'll have some good news on that as well. But in the meantime, what kind of took place is dealing with the company called Go Best Biz, which is led by Jason Money and his incredible team. Adia Bell, Andrea Woods, so many people that play a big role in that. We decided to basically partner up and open a show that we could, that basically Hustler could kind of call its own, and open it up basically nationwide to take it into some other markets across some of the other venues that they own across the country. So that's basically how this whole thing kind of happened. So for me as a producer, not only am I having an opportunity to basically produce another show, like some other fierce women producers in this town, I'm able to start to tour the show as well as set up residencies outside of Las Vegas, which is a huge goal that I've had for a long time with any production, but now that these are technically my shows and my productions, it's even better. It's really exciting. I'm really blessed, and it's a whole new world and a whole new venture. A lot of learning. Branching out into different cities and states is very different from our home that we are very familiar with here in Las Vegas. So it's been a learning experience.
How does Exxcite The Show differ from your prior work?
Well, one, again, like I was saying, this is basically a show that is going to be under the umbrella for this company and their clubs moving forward. My style is kind of my style, and my choreography is my choreography, and so there are hints of some of the attributes of Sexy The Show in there, which I'm very proud of. But we do have pretty much an entirely new cast that is over there with me, and we have an incredible singer, Rocky Brown, who is rocker chick all the way. I feel like our music is much more pow pow, like rockin' and kind of in your face. Costumes as well, the energy of the show itself versus being, kind of sexy and laid back and sultry and things like that. I feel like we're giving a lot more power and energy and strong acts and strong performances to make it a little bit more like jump-started in your face. So that's basically why we called it Exxcite, is we wanted to, the name kind of just fits, again, kind of like sexy in the innuendo of it being an adjective, but spelled differently. That's kind of the same situation I took with Exxcite. So, now we can say, like, we're excited to do the show, and not only is the name of the show Exxcite, but it's explaining what we're about to do and what we're about to perform. So, yeah, we've got new acts in the show, new dancers, new costumes, different music, different venues. So I do feel the shows are very different.
We at CYInterview had a chance to see the debut of Exxcite The Show last week, and it is no doubt sensual and titillating. Do you think it is couples-friendly?
I definitely think it's couples-friendly. Again, we're bringing a different dynamic into the adult gentlemen's club industry. And again, I think the team at Go Best for, one, the opportunity, and two, seeing what we do bring to the table. It's a different class, it's a different element. Now when people come into the club, they get to see a whole entire production, which they weren't, that didn't happen before in this industry. So I'm also running their bottle service program. I've had some very interesting props made for their VIP bottle service, as well as I run the Go-Go program, and those will also be set up in our next city that we're opening.
Jay?
Some very interesting questions pop into my mind. I am, as I'm listening to all this, I'm wondering how much of this is a sign of the times, and why do I say that? Sexy the Show, I was going to use was, but it's going to be again.
Yes.
So I'm going to say
sure.
is
yep.
what I would call a very upscale Las Vegas style offering. Okay, I'm going to guess here, Jennifer. I'm going to guess on demographics, but I would suspect that the vast majority of the people who were coming and will come to Sexy the Show were, I'd say, really everyone. I don't think it probably skewed single male. I think I think there were plenty of couples. I think there were plenty of women who went and saw the show and had
definitely.
a great time. And so I'm right so far, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And if I can interject, I do think that's because the team and what we brought to the table, the cast across the board is diversely talented, as well as diverse in body types and nationalities and all of those things, and that's something really great to see. And everyone is talented, and those girls are kicking it every night on the stage, and I think that's something that exhilarates most people when they come to see any of the productions that I do.
100% agreed, and that was its reputation, and a hard-won reputation over 7 years in a place as competitive as Las Vegas. And then I sit back and I think, there are, across the United States, all kinds of venues that I would say skew in terms of clubs, particularly male. A lot of times they're referred to as gentlemen's clubs. And most of the audience is male, and I suspect most of the time the entertainment is more up close than the kind of show that, let's say, Sexy the Show is, and here comes Exxcite the Show. And I started wondering, and I started thinking, and you may think this is out there, but I said, Roe v. Wade was overturned. And we've now got this very, very conservative Supreme Court. And there's talk about same-sex marriage being overturned. And there's talk about kind of turning back the clock on all kinds of freedoms that I think a vast majority of Americans take for granted, or at least took for granted up to now. And then I started thinking, what's going to become of all these clubs across the United States where primarily guys, not just guys, but primarily guys would go to these clubs to see a certain entertainment. And then I thought, I wonder if some very smart people, in sitting back and thinking, they said, if we bring in someone like Jennifer Romas and we bring in what I would call well-choreographed entertainment that is indisputably has production value and dance value and all this, is this a way to hedge our bets to the future in case one day the kind of entertainment we have typically offered is banned or is taken away, and we've got all these venues across the United States? What on earth do we do? Well, if we bring in upscale Las Vegas entertainment with known people and people who have a pedigree in dance, does that work as an insurance policy? Do you think I'm way out there on this, or do you think that's there might be something to that?
Honestly, there has to be something to it. I think we all, you know, again, I hate going back to COVID or whatever, because I think there were a lot of good things that did come out of it. But, you know, we opened our eyes to many different things. I mean, I think social media as well took off in a completely different way than it would have had COVID not happened, with influencers and everything that we can do and order and things like that online. Same thing happened with the shows. Producers, entertainers, soloists, artists, musicians, dancers had to find different venues where they could still perform versus sitting at home, you know, behind a cell phone screen recording themselves. And so I think, and this goes back to our other conversation that we had last time too, is like kind of old school Vegas and entertainment came back again with like the lounge performers and the small venues and all of these like food and dinner shows and things like that, which we kind of lost a little bit through the years here in Vegas. I think a lot of that's now come full circle. So no, I don't think you're completely off. I think every business, every brand, every, you know, venue, restaurant, whatever it is, has to grow or expand or try something different with the turn of times. And again, you know, we do bring, like you said, a production element to these venues moving forward that they don't have.
Indisputably. And
exactly.
You know what, Jennifer?
And it upsells their business.
Yeah, 100%. You came up with a much better word than I. You summed up all my blabbing with one word.
Well, I blabbed too.
No, but you summed up all my blabbing with one most excellent word: upsell. In other words, this takes it to a whole different level. Now, a place that may have appealed to, you know, look, I don't know what the demographics are, males between the age of 25 and 55, who knows, primarily. All of a sudden, it's like, this is a Vegas venue. This is a Las Vegas venue. This is a Las Vegas venue in New York or in Tulsa, or a Las Vegas venue in Los Angeles. Now we're moving in the direction of Broadway shows. Now we're moving in the direction of high-style dancing, bona fide choreography, and you have a blend, no doubt, of sensuality and titillation, but at the same time married with very, very top professionals when it comes to choreography, production, and dance. And
Thank you.
Really
I have an incredible team.
Yeah, and that creates a tremendous upsell, which I think can also work as a hedge if the political tides continue in a certain direction, that it creates a very, very powerful moment for each of these clubs across the country where they say, we see our way forward. And the way forward is Exxcite the Show.
And we're excited to be there. No, it's been a great opportunity, and you know, I went back and forth in my head, you know, how to navigate in this technically kind of new industry, bringing our production in my company, our enterprises. And how do we do this? How do I make sure that it's still a show that is considered a show? And how do I lead my team? And how do we, you know, just
count all that money?
Different questions and different things came into play with this, especially with trying to figure out how to expand. And, I've done touring shows and gigs and things like that in other states and cities. Of course, we all have. But when you're having a show that's going to have a residency in those places, it took a lot, again, of kind of background information that I didn't have, that I had to search for or meet with or try to figure out how are we going to do that? How is payroll going to work? How am I going to manage it? How am I going to, lead the team when I'm not there nightly? And that's kind of one thing that has been a learning experience here as well, too. One, when Sexy opened back up at the Westgate and I had 2 different teams and 2 different shows running, of course I couldn't be in both places at the same time, so we had 2 different complete casts, and it was a great learning experience because it taught me and it showed me that I have to be able to run this show here without me being there, without me running in, without me fixing things, and really be able to trust my team and trust, whoever I've put in charge. And my dance captain, Kelly Fenn, is over there with me at Exxcite, and she's been doing an incredible job. But it's definitely a learning curve, and that's kind of why I chose to take myself performance-wise out of the show for this particular show moving forward. And that doesn't mean I'm not ever going to perform again. That doesn't mean I'm not going to do, guest appearances. That doesn't mean I'm not going to perform at Sexy or in something else. But for this particular journey, it was very important for me to sit back and really just take the role of being producer and learn how to wear that hat for this. So it's been a learning experience emotionally, and of course always in business. I'm always learning still to this day, but it's been soul searching as well for myself, because I'm still a performer at heart. So I think I made the right choices with this moving forward to be able to move forward.
Very, very, very compelling, and we certainly wish you tremendous good luck. And you don't need it, because the quality speaks for itself. Chris?
Jennifer, before we wrap up, I just want to say to you, as always, every time we're on the phone, you say something about the Las Vegas entertainment community that I witness here every week, but you just always sum it up quite well. So, we have to call you a Las Vegas entertainment, expert, a spokesperson for the Las Vegas entertainment community. You always just are so on top of it.
Thank you. I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in, one, and I'm also blessed to be in this community amongst incredible artists, and to all of those that get to share, I get to share the journey with, whether it be for 1 minute or 7 years or whatever. I'm elated that they've been a part of the journey, and we really do have some of the best entertainment in this city, as well as the best support system of friends, family, other people within our industry. I say my husband, but my boyfriend Rico is super supportive. My mom and dad are like my biggest fans and supporters, but our community itself, and I've said this before, I wouldn't be in the position that I was in if people didn't come out and support. You guys as well with all of this. It doesn't happen overnight, and I'm very, very grateful and thankful for everybody.
What nights and times can people see Exxcite the Show?
We are Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 9:30 p.m. at the world-famous Larry Flint's Hustler Club. So for show creator, dancer, Las Vegas entertainer, Jennifer Romas, featured columnist Jay Bilstein, and CYInterview, I'm Chris Shannock.